Hey YouTube, Siam here. It's been a while since I've done a little update, but I want to shout out to the lovely guy I bumped into in Norwich outside the Waffle House. So apparently he watches this channel, so hey. And also for another lovely person who sent me this hoodie, Rob the Rich. I still haven't checked out the website, I probably should, but it's a company hoodie, so thank you very much. Yeah, so the markets. It's really interesting getting onto Twitter and just seeing what the general world is thinking about. So I tend to zone out of what the general internet says and thinks and whatnot, because it always affects my trading. Every single time I let the outside world, or if I watch the news, into my head, I lose money. So I don't follow any YouTubers or pretty much anyone. The only person I follow is Elon. So what's going on? So having a little look on Twitter, everyone is like super bull right now. And although I am 100% back in the market in a month, in lots of different projects and whatnot, I'm cautiously long. Cautiously, because all it takes is some sort of trigger that I'm waiting for, and I'm not sure what it will be. Some sort of trigger that will then pop the stock market bubble. What you have to understand is that we are going through a convergence of pretty much a dozen different bubbles, all literally focusing into the same sort of focal point. There's loads. There's the auto loan bubble, the student debt bubble, the pension debt bubble. We've got a raging currency war that's happening all over the globe. There's so many things that's going on right now. It's ridiculous. We are living in a world of hyper-normalization where batshit crazy, batshit nuts stuff is happening. Yet it's all normalized, and something bigger and crazier needs to happen for the world to go, oh my god. Like, people don't realize that the real ramifications of Ukraine, the Ukraine war, is not, a military thing. It's an economic thing. That's the thing that's going to really cause long tail repercussions. For instance, it's pretty obvious chess of what Russia's doing. So if the West, puts all these heavy economic sanctions on Russia, confiscates all of their foreign reserves, of course Russia's going to start demanding payment of their energy and their exports in the ruble or their own crypto or whatever. Yet the media, the press, the world seems to be pretty shocked and outraged by this. But when you have over $600 billion of, like, let's say I was a shopkeeper, right? And I was selling you a whole bunch of stuff, and you rely heavily on my stuff. And I've been taking your currency, and then all of a sudden you like smack me with all sorts of different sanctions and whatnot. And not only that, you confiscate all of the money in my bank account. Well, of course I'm not going to do business with you unless you pay me in something which I can control, and that I'm not just going to get confiscated. So of course Russia's, so it's nuts. I think the main thing I'm really concerned about, and I'm concerned and I'm also looking for an opportunity at the same time. I know I'm a trader, a blood-sucking vampire, but the thing is, Africa is going to starve. They're literally going to starve next year. Ukraine is one of the biggest food exporters to Africa, and it's going to be so we're now in a situation where not only are food prices going to go up because of what's going on in the Ukraine, the oil prices have shot up. So the cost to make that food has gone up, and the cost to transport that food has gone up, plus the supply of food has gone down. It's really, I can't think of a good moral, ethical investment move at the moment to capitalize on that, other than going long on soya, wheat, corn, and all that, and oil long term. But yeah, in the UK it won't really affect us that much. We're still going to be able to pop down to Tesco Express and get your you know, vanilla creme donut and groceries and whatnot, the price is just going to be a bit higher. Yeah, so that's that. Other random thoughts is Elon buying Twitter. Again, I think that's a very wise move. The reason being, I think, because contrary to popular belief, I don't believe he's part of the the world elite that's all conspiring to do all this crazy shit. I actually think he's one of the outliers. That he's not one of the evil ones, so to speak. And as he progresses with Tesla, bear in mind Tesla's not a car company; it's a robotic AI company / energy company. It's going to be taking out a whole bunch of incumbent industries, multi-billion-dollar industries that have been around for decades. He's not going to make many friends, so I think he's seen what's happened to Donald Trump. Trump just got kicked out of Twitter, and then all of a sudden Trump had no sort of podium to stand on and talk about, or talk from. And so that could easily happen to Elon. So I think one of the key things he's done there is secured his podium, so he can get his word out there if he was to ever be censored in the future. You see a lot of billionaires doing it. I mean, Bezos bought the Washington Post and a few other media companies. It's another way that they can sort of control the narrative around them. But I hope, and this is just a hope, I hope Elon dramatically changes Twitter in the sense of monetizing it. Now, when I say monetizing it, what I don't mean is adverts and turning it into like a Facebook ad type thing. There's enough ads on Twitter already. What I mean is by getting rid of the spam. So by combining, oh look, the water's quite high today. Yeah. So if you were to cryptify Twitter so that every profile needed a deposit of, say, $10 worth of Bitcoin, okay? And that $10 worth of Bitcoin would last for a lifetime if you're a good, normal person. And what this means is that if every single time you post a tweet, that tweet would cost you, I don't know, 10,000 Satoshis or something like that. But it's a deposit for 1 million Satoshis. Sorry, no, not 1 million Satoshis. Yeah, I think a couple of thousand Satoshis. Something really cheap, less than a penny. And every single tweet, your $10 worth of account, you will put that down as a deposit. And there will be sort of a verification process, so done behind the scenes, so that if your tweet is a genuine tweet, you get that 1,000 Satoshis back. If it's not, and it's labeled as spam, and it's been proven as spam, or a cloned account, or something like that, you lose the Satoshis. Now, the reason I think that would massively help the integrity of Twitter is that it would get rid of all of the cloned accounts, the spammers, and whatnot, because these spammers operate on teeny percentages. So, for example, they may have to send out billions of messages to get a couple of idiots to send me 1 Bitcoin to get 2 Bitcoins back, and all, etc. Whereas if they're having to pay 1,000, 10,000, or 100,000 Satoshis per tweet, and they keep losing these deposits, they're not going to be able to spam. They're not going to be able to spam, create cloned accounts or whatever. So I think that would harden the integrity of Twitter, make it completely spamless and robotless. Well, I wouldn't say robotless. It would mean you'd need deep pockets to spam on Twitter. Hell, you could just put the price up. But it also means every Twitter user would then have to go out and buy $10 worth of Bitcoin. So yeah, you could, no doubt, Elon could do that, or link up with Strike, or Jack Mallers, yeah, any of the other good Bitcoin guys out there. Sorry, I'm desperately trying to drink this rapidly colding beer. Coffee. It's not beer, it's coffee. Yeah, so they're my general thoughts. In terms of what positions I'm in, I still, every day I get messages of saying, hey, what should I get into, yada yada yada. I would highly recommend for most people to avoid rebasing DAOs and nodes. Nodes are the next fad that's kicking off because DAOs erupted, but nodes are going to follow the same fate. And the main thing is that all of these projects can't answer the same simple freaking question, which is, where are you getting the yield from? You know, you can't have something that's chucking out hundreds or thousands of percent APY when the treasury is just deploying it in two extremes. Either they're dicking around with small, you know, £1 million market cap startups, so they're looking for a PAG, a potential appreciation gain, or you go and spunk it all on some layer 1 validator, which is only giving you 10% or 20%. Just doesn't work. So the most of my pot is, yeah, I had to exit Ohm the other day, so I got back into Ohm at $31, went up to 42, and yesterday I exited about $33. It broke base support, and I cannot stress enough, breaking base support, you got to get out. I was in Titano for months until it broke base support the other day, so I'm out. So yeah, all of these DAOs and nodes, they're all going to go up, they're going to look peachy, then they're going to bomb out. Get out after base support is broken, and then move on. God, I'm so out of breath. I just walked up a bunch of stairs. Hooped. But anyway, gotta go. Rambling. Toodles.